everybody, it's Ed, and the future is now, and the future is a pre-earnings update on Tesla and the technical analysis. Anyway, I'm going to go back old school and go back to my old Schwab trading chart. And remember we talked about the flag, okay? We talked about the flag, and it appeared that it actually did run the flag. It took a little bit more than 4 days, but it's about 8 or 9 days into this flag. But you can see this flag again. It busted up when they had their numbers, 88,000 cars delivered. So that was huge, but they don't have profitability yet. So it ran up, and now it's flagging down, flagging sideways, and it's going to break. Okay, obviously it's going to break. We've got Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then earnings right after Wednesday. So the key is to figure out the play. Okay, what are we going to do? Which direction is it going to go? What's happening? You can see it's above the 50. That's good. It's in the uptrend. That's also good. But it's kind of high on the uptrend. Let's say, for example, I draw in this sort of trend. This is really high up on that uptrend. And the one thing we did have to figure out is what amount does it actually go up or down? So I'm trying to figure out like what percentage risk I want to take on Tesla going into earnings. Obviously, you know I'm a huge fan of Tesla, so I'm going to do something one way or another. I'm definitely not going to short it. That is not going to happen. But what I may do is I may put a certain amount of shares in Monday. Well, I mean, I'm probably going to be trading Monday and Tuesday anyway, but I'm definitely going to have something going in, probably going into earnings. Okay, they have some good news and they've got some bad news. Okay, so the good news is they had a good amount of sales. They got the China factory, doing well. They got the Model Y. There's a lot of tailwinds there. The bad news is, this whole crisis is made Q2 a total disaster. We don't really know how many sales they're having online and what's really going on. I mean, are a lot of people really running out to buy the cars right now? Probably not. And it's not Tesla, it's just in general. I doubt anybody's running out to buy cars in general. Okay, a buddy of mine actually owns a dealership. He sells high-end used cars and, Mercedes, BMWs, whatnot. And I purchased multiple cars from him. It's a Tampa Bay Auto Network. And so, I mean, if you're in the area, I could shoot a shout out to him. Great deals. I've bought so many cars from him, and I've never had a problem ever. And he's mainly online. You just go online. So he's in great position with this situation. But anyway, that's digressing a little bit. We're talking about Tesla, and he can't get a Tesla. I'll tell you that. He can't even get a used Tesla. I said, the minute you get a used Tesla, let me know. I said, you can even pay an extra 1,000 over what you think, but you just can't get them, can't get a hold of them. Nobody's selling their Teslas. So that's a good thing if you think about it on Tesla side. So, but anyway, back to the chart, and you can see, let me throw in the trend moving average, simple moving average. Let me throw in another one and then switch it over from the 20 to the 200 day. Okay. And you can see right when it hit the 200 day, huge bounce off the 200. It hit the 50, but then it literally went straight through. That was right when they announced that the amount of deliveries. Okay, you can see it obviously went up after it crossed the 20. Okay, let me get rid of the 20. Where's 20? Yeah, let's get rid of the 20. And we will look at it. Basically, so now let's look at this from a standpoint of what's going to happen. Okay, now I don't have a crystal ball again, but I run over probabilities of things to happen. Okay, first of all, we know what could happen. In the next couple days, it could ramp up into earnings and then sell off before earnings. It could kind of go flat and continue in this weird flag pattern that, never happens, hardly. It's super rare, this flag pattern, right? It only happened like 10 times since I've been tracking Tesla in 7 months. So, but anyway, so it's going to break one way or another. It could break down and test the actual uptrend. So that's possible. and the moving average. You see, if it tests the uptrend and moving average simultaneously, it'll probably kick above that. The market could drag it down. I really don't know. The market tends to drag everything down at some point in time, but we'll see kind of how that plays out. But as far as Tesla's concerned, if they show a profit at all, I think they're going to jump. Okay, and it may be a temporary jump, meaning it could jump up to 800, maybe even 820, and then kind of head back to reality for a while. But that's a possibility. If they show a profit at all, I think that could be a big sign. But it could have like a Netflix knee-jerk reaction, though. Netflix went up like $50 plus a share, 40 or 50 a share after the earnings, and then within 5 minutes, it lost all of it, and then it head back down. It even lost some gains in a few days. So Tesla could perform the same type of situation. Okay, it could shoot up. It could shoot up and then head back down. So in quickly. So I mean, I'm not sure. I'm not going to commit a massive amount of shares. So if I take, I can commit potentially up to about 200 shares or 150,000, but that would be a huge risk. So I don't want to get trapped in a situation where it has a 5 minute, drawback of like $50 a share, or that would be, let's say $50 a share times 250 shares would be 12,500. So obviously I don't want to take a $12,500 risk when there's still a lot of uncertainty there. I think the upside gain is a little bit less than, it's a little more of a risk than the downside potential, not because of Tesla, because of the market as a whole. So let's say I put in 20 shares and then it goes up or down $70 a share. That would only be taking about a $1,400 risk either way. So if I divide that times the total account value of 199, that would be under 1%. That would be about 0.007, or just under a percent essentially. So I was actually watching, I should say reading, or listening to, I should say, an ebook about investing, and there was a lot of good things that came about from it. But the main thing that I did get from it when it came to trading is that they suggested not to go over 2%. So keep your risk, your daily risk or your trade risk at about 2%. So you don't want to take 10, 15, 20% risks on your trades. Okay, so I just do it naturally. I didn't realize that I was doing that all the time. I basically take a 0.5%, like, what was it, Friday? Friday we made about 1,250. So 1,250 divided by 998. Let me put 199, which would be 0.006. So 0.6%. Okay, so I didn't even take like a percent risk. So I'm trying to keep my risk somewhere between a 0.5% to 2% on a given trade. So whatever amount of money, let's say you have, I mean, if you're trading, obviously you need 25,000 in your account. So let's say you have 30,000 in your account, for example. If you have 30,000 in your account and you multiply that, I should say, times 0.02, the maximum you should be winning or losing in a given day should be around 600. So if you're losing 1,000 or gaining 1,000 in a day, you're probably pushing your risk a little bit higher than you should. You should be trying somewhere in between the 400 to 600 range on a daily basis. If that's what you should probably be trading, to have a very low risk tolerance there. So obviously if you're trading and you're losing 5 or 10,000, for example, let's say you're trading and losing or winning 5,000 in a given day, and all you have is 30,000 in your account. Okay, if you lose one day, you're down to 25,000. You can barely even trade. Okay, so depending on how much you have in the trading account, also means how much you're going to be risking essentially. So keep that in mind. That's a very important thing that I was listening to on that ebook about investing, and I just do it naturally. I guess I just already know to keep my risk tolerances low. But anyway, that's something to think about. So I mean, depending on how much you want. How many people say, well, should I put money into Tesla pre-earnings? I mean, if you think about it, it's really on how much do you want to risk on that call. If you think that Tesla is going to have a good earnings report, how much would you risk on that situation? So most likely, I'm probably going to risk about, I would say, let's say 20 to 50 shares, let's say. So if we have 50 shares times 725, then it's $36,000 worth of Tesla shares total divided by the 198. So really, it's only 18% of the portfolio, but the percentage that it can move up or down is about 20%. So if you're risking, 35,000 on Tesla shares and you lose 20%, 0.20, you could lose up to 7,000, okay, if it moves up or down 20%. So that's a pretty heavy risk. So I'm going to probably lay somewhere in between 20 to 50 shares on a trade, depending on how it ramps up and depending on how much we made on the ramp up, if it does ramp up Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I probably should have left a few shares in going into Monday, but I chose not to because we had a decent day. We made 1,200. Like I said, I try to average around 500 to 1,000 a day. So if I'm over that in a given day, I don't need to push my luck and all of a sudden go into Monday and let's say it's down $10 a share, and then I'm giving back some of the profits that I made the day before. So anyway, made good successful trades on Friday, so everything worked out, and we're borderline. We're trying to hit that 200K mark on the brokerages accounts, and see what try to get by that. So I'm hoping to break that on Monday. So we'll see how that goes. Let's talk about the guidance for Tesla. Okay, that's kind of key too. Obviously, we know the earnings are probably going to be solid, even if they take a small loss or a small gain. I think the earnings are going to be pretty solid, okay, for Q1. Okay, we didn't get hit too bad. They only got hit a little bit in March. Okay, their January and February numbers were probably solid because of what was going on with all the hype around the Cybertruck and Tesla stock over the last quarter, Q4 19. So, but if you think of guidance, what are they going to say? What's Elon and the CFO going to say? Okay, what are they going to say? Okay, they're going to be positive, they're going to be neutral, they're going to be negative. On the guidance, are they going to hit 500,000 cars? Think of how many cars they're going to have to push to try to hit 500,000 cars. Okay, they hit 300, what was it, 360,000 cars, right? So are they going to hit 500,000 cars? Let's say they have about, 90,000 cars. Now, Q2 is going to be a disaster. I would say maybe 50,000. That would be my just ballpark random number I'd throw out. They could hit, somewhere in that ballpark, 50 to 60 maybe. I mean, you got to realize that we do have China ramping up, which helps, but I'm not sure how many people are really going to be buying in China. But I think there's a lot of pent up demand there in China, so they've been waiting around for those Teslas in China. So that's a good thing there. So what about if you think about the U.S., we're basically not selling anything for, let's see, April. April's not too good. I don't think May's going to be great. We might miss 2 months of May. So basically, half of the quarter might be vanished. So I think 50,000. I mean, if you just cut Q2 in half, so 88 divided by 2 is about 44,000. Okay, so I think 40 to 50,000 is probably an accurate amount, potentially. So, and that's definitely going to pull the stock down for sure, just because they're not going to hit their 500,000 maybe unless we really ramp up Q3, Q4, and we get out of this whole situation, and we get out of it without a total financial disaster zone. So that's a part of it too. So, I mean, guidance I think is pretty much blown. So, I mean, I think their numbers may be good and may shoot up, and then once they start talking about the guidance, that may pull the stock down. That's what I would say for the people like kind of watching it after hours and seeing what's going on. I mean, I'm not sure. This is just kind of speculation. Obviously, I'm speculating on what I think is going to happen or not happen. So, if you guys think it's going to ramp up, put it in the comments. What's going to happen? Is the stock going to ramp up to 800 plus, and then come down? You know, is it going to ramp up and continue that momentum, or is it just going to cave no matter what the earnings are? So do me a favor and put that in the comments so I can get an idea of how you guys think about it. You know, so I can plan basically how many shares. I mean, I'm using you guys as like a little confirmation. So, I mean, either way, so I might put 20, 30, 40, 50 shares. Well, every 10 shares of Tesla is going to make a difference, you know, as far as that goes. So, anyway, I hope you guys like the analysis. I wish I could give you some more details about it, but I really don't want to speculate too much about what could or could not happen here. I mean, we're going to know what's going to happen. You know, we're going to know in 3 days, 4 days, sorry. You know, so and we'll know what's going to happen. But after that, it's anybody's guess after that. All right. Anyway, have a great day. Make sure you guys be safe and you know, take all precautions. Take care.